Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And as always, we'll get over to the chit-chat with John Randall and I this week, and it's some pretty video game-heavy chat this week, so I'm going to keep this intro kind of short and sweet, because this is one of the longer, I guess they kind of vary the Save It for the Cast episodes, anywhere from like a half hour sometimes to like up to a full hour, like full-blown episodes, sometimes even longer than our regular episodes. But yeah, this one we kind of lean into some more Elden Ring. I feel like Randall and John have kind of left that on the back burner for a little bit, just because they were like, we're talking about this like every single time we sit down to chat, so we'll chat about it before we start recording the episode proper. So yeah, they dig into some Elden Ring, and even John digs into some more Monster Hunter Rise, the Sunbreak DLC, I believe it's called. I always forget the name of that DLC for whatever reason, but probably because there's a million different Monster Hunter games at this point. But I did want to give a shout out to a couple games, although again, since I've still been kind of getting settled back in here in Michigan, I've been kind of catching up with some old pals, which I mentioned last week, and we've gotten together a couple more times. And the first time we just kind of, mostly just caught up and shot the shit and had a few beers and whatnot. But the last couple times we hung out, they apparently get together almost every week and do a 32 race Mario Kart 8 tournament on Switch. And so, yeah, the last couple times we hung out, we ended up doing that. And I was thinking, like, okay, I've been playing a bunch of games, but obviously with these guys playing every single week, I mean, they know every single shortcut. And I'm not just talking about like the major, like, kind of main shortcuts, but just anywhere where, like, if you have a mushroom and you can kind of cut a corner here on the grass or the mud or whatever, like, they have it all down to, like, pretty much a science, although thankfully with some of the newer courses that have been added with all the DLCs, which has been a lot of fun for me because I haven't really played any of those up to this point, and they really haven't played a ton of those yet either. I guess they're kind of like just starting to get back into the groove with doing the Mario Kart on a regular basis, and this last time we only got about halfway through the 32 races because one of the guys couldn't make it. So we were playing online, like most of us were all at one of our buddies' houses, but one of the guys was playing online, and because one of us ran to the restroom or ran upstairs to grab a drink or something and like left the controller inactive for too long, it just like kicked us out of the session, and we were like, oh man, even in like, we just had computer players otherwise, so to round out the other 12 players, but it's pretty fun. They put it on frantic items, which basically you can get pretty much, I think there's still some kind of rhyme or reason to like what items you're getting based on what place you're in, but it's not just like if you're in first, you're getting coins and bananas, or if you're in eighth, you're getting the blue shell every time, or lightning. Like, it's kind of like you might be in third place and get 3 red shells, or get 6 red shells even potentially, or get like the Mario Kart 8, like the infinity icon or whatever, where you get like all the items in the game or whatever it is. So it's pretty cool. It actually kind of seems to round out the gameplay a little bit. And then, yeah, I was really lagging behind. I mean, I came in last. I beat all the computer players, but just barely edging them out while they were like just mopping the floor with me. Like, I did come in first like on a couple of races, but when you're racing 32, I mean, I was getting 8th place, 7th place. I mean, I was thinking like, I'm the guy with the video game podcast over here talking a big game, but just too funny. But I did want to also mention, after that, actually, before I get on to the next thing, after the session kind of ended abruptly, the reason one of the guys couldn't make it in person was because he wasn't feeling super well. So he was like, okay, I'm going to stay home, but I'll play with you guys online. So once this online session ended, he was like, okay, I'm going to hit the hay. And we ended up playing a little more. I just finally received my copy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge on Switch. Physically, I know Randall and I talked about that game quite a bit on a regular episode of the podcast. But it was really fun. We played through like the first 6 levels with 4 players. So it's pretty chaotic. So I know you can play up to 6 players. And my buddy Vince, that we were over at his place, he's got like a pretty huge projector. It was really fun to play like just a huge, like intense, beautiful beat 'em up. The pixel art in that game is just absolutely amazing. And the soundtrack as well. He's got a really great sound system too. So it was really cool to experience the game that way. But it's also, we were just playing on the normal difficulty, and I don't remember if Randall and I called attention to the difficulty of the game, but man, we were getting, or maybe the difficulty gets ramped up as you add more players or something, but I felt like it was just, we were getting our asses kicked. But that game is just really, really awesome. I mean, I just basically can just double down on all the opinions that Randall and I had when we talked about it before. It's just a blast, and I'm hoping I can bring that over another time or two, and we can polish off the rest of the campaign, because yeah, the combat system is pretty in depth. Like, even playing it again, it was like, I'm still kind of remembering and even like figuring out, like learning how to do new moves. Like I played as April this time, so she obviously has like a little bit of a different move set than all the turtles, and one of the other guys was playing as Splinter, so it was pretty cool. It just, I don't know, it's really fun to play a beat 'em up with 4 people in person for that matter, because Randall and I were able to play on Game Pass. We were playing online, so it was still fun chatting on Discord or whatever, Skype or whatever we were using to chat while we were playing, but it's not quite the same as like sidling up on the couch next to somebody and chipping through a co-op campaign or whatever. But yeah, I did want to mention as well, not even a game that I've played yet, but I finally did pick up a copy. I know I mentioned, I don't know if we've mentioned this on the podcast, so I take that back, but Randall pre-ordered the game Demon Throttle from Devolver Digital and Doinksoft, which is the developer of Gato Roboto, which is one of my personal favorite games. I just love that game. And they had this new game coming out on Switch, and it was like, it's going to be physical only, and it was like on, I think, special reserve games or something, and I was like, I don't feel like making an account and, you know, just buying something on a site that I don't have an account for. So the first wave came and went, and then Randall and our buddy Ben, or Paradigm, that we talk about on the podcast sometimes from the Indie Game Collective, he got it as well. And I was like, man, I should have pre-ordered it. And then they opened up a second wave of pre-orders, and you could even just order it on Amazon, like a standard edition without like the slip cover and the extra goodies or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll pre-order this. And then I got an email saying like, hey, you're like it was just supposed to come out just the other day, like 2 days ago, as of the day of recording this. And I got like an email saying I have to approve a delayed shipment. So I approved it, and it kept saying like, you still need to approve this. So I approved it like 5 more times. It wasn't seeming to work. So I was like, okay, I'll just cancel the order and reorder it, not thinking. And then I was like, oh no, that probably took me out of the pre-order queue. So I tried like calling Amazon, trying to get my order like back activated, and they're just like, yeah, we can't do that for whatever reason, but they're just like, we can't do that. So I was like, oh no, this limited edition. Like I finally, after having the willpower to not get it the first time around, when they opened it up again, I was like, okay, I don't have enough willpower to pass up on it twice, because it does look so awesome. It's just like a top-down shooter, which Randall and I are going to be talking about Pocky and Rocky soon. It gets like a short mention on this episode here. But the new Pocky and Rocky Reshrined, which is another like top-down but ground-based shoot 'em up, which you don't see a lot of. I feel like I say that all the time, but maybe it's just because I'm seeking them out now. But yeah, Demon Throttle just looks so fun. It's got a really great NES aesthetic, and I was able to track it down at Best Buy. First, I was like, maybe I'll order it on Target. They had it online for some reason. Yeah, I went to Best Buy. They had it. It said they had it online. They couldn't find it. They were like going back. I was like, the day after it came out, and they like dug it out of a box in the back. Like nobody knew what I was talking about looking for the game. Like, oh, this is one of those obscure indie games, huh? And like, I was just like, I'm sorry for making you guys scramble all around the store. But at the end of the day, I ended up with a copy of the game, and I obviously just canceled my Amazon order and everything. But man, what a debacle to get this game. But it ended up kind of working out in my favor, because although I didn't want to spend the extra $30, I was originally using Amazon points to purchase that game. And then I noticed that Paper Mario Origami King on Switch was on sale for like $40. So I was like, oh, that's going to be with Color Splash on Wii U, which I never picked up. I think the price of that one's like, I've seen it up to like $90 sometimes on Amazon or wherever I saw it online. So I was glad to kind of pick that one up now, because even though I know those games have gone a little bit off the rails, and we've even talked about that on previous episodes of the podcast, I'm just like, I still heard that one was pretty good, and it looks gorgeous. So I really do want to dig into that one. And I still think they always, like, every one of those games that I've played at least has had in that series has had something to offer, even if it doesn't quite live up to the greatness of Thousand Year Door or the original game. It's still like they've all scratched the itch enough for me, even if I don't end up finishing them. I'm like, I still like experiencing like just the clever mechanics and whatever, even if they overdo it or just complicate things sometimes. But anyways, I know I said I was going to keep it short and sweet on this one, but I ended up rambling longer than I intended. So I'll wrap it up here and kick it over to John Randall and I for some, mostly heavy video game chat this week. But until next time, we'll catch you then, and take care. Rusty Randall over there, man. I feel like it's been a little minute since we've been on a recording, man. I feel like it's been a while.
Rusty Nolery, yeah.
How you been?
That's busy, very busy, very, very busy.
Good, busy. I feel ya.
Yeah. Fiona's going through a little bit of a rough time, so that's one thing. But family just left, and we just had a birthday, and there's a lot of changes and all that's going on, and work's a little bit wild, but that's not too bad. But yeah, it's just been a little bit of a marathon lately.
Yeah. That visit with Tina's mom was super long. Well, between like her being out of town with her mom and then extending that. But that's awesome that you guys got some good time to hang. And for the most part, you like, other than I'm sure it was still busy, but you still being able to like be at home for all of that seems pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Like you got the best end of that deal, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. And I got like some gaming time in at night that way, you know, and like some of the work stuff that I needed to push out, but felt guilty about working on, you know, on a normal night I could do.
When you could be having like family time or whatever. Yeah.
So.
And some one-on-one time with Fiona, which I'm sure you don't get a ton of between just busy schedules and whatever, you know. So that's cool.
Yes.
How old?
Little Bowser time.
Yeah. She is 4. She just turned 4
okay.
August 31st.
So is that first grade or is that kindergarten? No, first grade is like 7 years old.
Yeah, she could have just hit the mark for preschool.
That's right.
Official preschool, but there was already a wait list and a lot of factors they used to determine who could get those slots if they're open. So she needs to wait until she's 5 basically to start that process. Even though she probably would have been ready this year, but that's okay.
Yeah. I realized that my godson is probably the same age as Fiona because he literally just started preschool. And he had I sent a photo of it to
I was just
like
gonna
the
bring
Boss
that up.
Fight Boys. Like he still like doesn't have like full like verbal communication yet, but like he's the one who refers to Mario Party as Mabo Party.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic.
Love it.
But on his like thing that his like teachers filled out for him is like, my teachers are this, like, my name is Michael, my favorite color is blue, when I grow up I want to be Bowser.
Hey.
And I'm like, I've never been more proud.
My man.
And I'm like, what is it with all the kids and Bowser these days, man? They're like
Bowser rules
on the dark side, and I guess the dinos are just coming back because I do know my brother's new baby. Like they just like for at the baby shower or whatever thing I was at where they got a bunch of gifts. Yeah, I think it was the baby shower. They got like a bunch of dinosaur stuff, and everybody's like, yeah, dinosaurs are in again. And I remember I was always like checking out dinosaur and like whale books in the library.
Oh, yeah.
They had these like books in our school library that had like these, I don't think this is the right word, but it's like that like clear, like acetate or cellophane, like paper where there'll be like multiple, like they'll make a picture of a whale and then you like turn the page and it's like clear and then you see like the insides of the whale with like the muscle tissue and whatever. And then like turn it again and then it's like the skeleton or whatever. And I would like check all those out. I don't think I read anything. I think I just looked at the pictures, but I was like, I'd check those out probably 20 times each.
Dinosaurs don't go out of style though. Let's be real.
That's true. Yeah.
Cool.
I guess dinos have always been pretty cool.
Yeah. Like they're dinosaurs.
They can never hurt you, so they're only cool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. And especially Bowser, he's always putting up some fairly half-assed attempts on those boss fights.
He is. Yeah,
he basically lets Mario skate on by.
Yeah. He knows what his role is.
Go ahead and beat the game.
He knows what his role is.
Go ahead and get back to hopping and bopping around on some obstacle courses. What you really want to be doing in this game.
Oh, you got me, man. Nice job. Carry on.
Yeah.
You gave it your best. Nice work. Continue on.
Good stuff, man. Man, I haven't played a Mario game, although I just beat Super Mario World not that long ago.
Yeah, I was like the Mario
I haven't played
World
a Mario
thing.
game in a while. But yeah, I did just play that. But I guess not a 3D Mario. I don't know. Maybe just like I just edited that episode and just put out the one where Randall talked about Bowser's Fury. So it was like just like on the brain, and I'm like literally just grabbing like a GIF to tweet about it, and I was like, "Fuck, I need to play this game." It was a really sweet GIF, like kind of like almost like Crash Bandicoot style, where like you're heading towards the camera and it's like Mario riding on that like dolphin dinosaur
Plessy?
creature thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is that Plessy?
And like Bowser's just like blasting away. I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
Because I
love that game.
messy.
That Bowser's Fury was awesome.
It was getting me pumped, and it was even on the super compressed GIF in and of itself, and then posting it on Twitter, even more compression probably. I was still like, damn, this game looks fucking great, man. They can really make the Switch sing, man. And Nintendo's always done a great job of making
art
that
direction
hardware.
is a hell of a thing.
It really is.
You really don't need a ton to just make it like really just go all out.
Hence why it's totally fine to still play like Xbox 360, GameCube era stuff, really.
Yeah. And why it's totally fine. I was starting to think with like how little we had heard about the like Zelda follow-up stuff for Breath of the Wild follow-up. Like I was like, man, are they going to push that to like a new console or something? Like, is it going to maybe? And then I was like, nope, I guess it's coming. Guess it's coming now.
I didn't even like have a chance to look at all the. They just announced a shit ton of things, and I'm just like catching it piecemeal. I don't even.
Right, I didn't see the
That's
Tales of Symphonia re-release.
Yeah,
like
that was one of the last things other than Zelda. Yeah,
that happened.
I wasn't watching the stream because I was at work, but like
I missed it too. Yeah,
I was just like seeing what people were posting about, and like even like days afterwards, I was like, oh shit, how come nobody talked about this?
Yeah, it was pretty like loaded. Kind of some random stuff, but like the Kirby remake from the Wii game, and I'm like, I own that game, but I've like also never played it ever.
It's a great game, but like I don't know why that is the one they're re-releasing. Like it seems like really scattershot on what they're re-releasing.
It's almost just like unless it's just boiled down to what is like the easiest to do, but it seems like they're putting some love into it. Like I saw somebody do a side by side of like an environment screenshot, and it was like, man, they're adding a lot of like extra detail and extra, so they're not just like up-resing it.
But like, why are they re-releasing Rune Factory 3 when like Rune Factory 5 is coming out soon?
Yeah,
and 4 came out on the Switch, and I played, like, it just seems
like, who's the audience for it? Right. I guess like,
is that a DS game? 3?
It looks like it still looks like a DS game.
Yeah,
that looked more like it got the up-res treatment.
Yeah,
and a little beyond that, but
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, I'm like, I was kind of getting excited just because I was like, oh yeah, cool, they're giving Kirby some more love, because I feel like they are giving Kirby a ton of love. But I was like, I'd rather see like Epic Yarn HD if you're gonna give us a Wii game that and give it the HD treatment. Like, imagine if that game looked as good as the Yoshi Good Feel games do. Like, oh man, but like, that would be so sick.
What would they even do to like up-res it? Like, it looked,
they'd almost have to like redo it.
Right, the
I guess I don't
textures
know.
are all like pretty nice to begin with, but like again, like it's not like it wasn't a very like graphically demanding game. Like, it's not like they can just take the like Wind Waker stuff and be like, there's no pop-up, there's no like fog.
Well, I wonder though if a lot of that stuff is like textures though and stuff, and if it is just like if they can like have it be like the original like
the highest
file
fidelity
or whatever,
file.
Like maybe they could just do that or something. I don't know. I guess they already remade it. I always forget they have that 3DS version of that game, and
oh my god,
Donkey Kong Country Returns. I feel like they put those out right around the same time. So those
were very end of life of like the last like real 3DS life.
That's true.
Those ports.
Yeah.
Like,
but anyway, let's talk about Elden Ring, Randall.
Elden Ring. Yeah. I like that.
Get in. I feel like it's been a while.
It's been a long time
since Elden Ring's come up.
Like I've completely forgotten how to play that game. I booted it up. Like, I was like, oh yeah, Randall's gonna talk. Let's refresh it. And I was like, oh god, I'm just dead.
This game's hard.
Yeah, this game's so hard.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how you got pulled into, like, I might have even said this before, but John, you got pulled into like 2 or 3 different like massive games.
Yeah.
And like, I was thinking for a while, I was like, man, nothing's going to pull John away from Elden. And then it's like, oh man, he's got like 3 things tugging at his heartstrings, and none of them are Elden.
Yeah.
But I get it though, because it's seemingly infinite. At some point you just have to be like, I need to play other video games.
Yep.
And this one just needs to take a back burner because it never stops.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, like, the muscle memory is real. Like, it has to like, at least for me, how I play video games, like, it has to be the game I'm playing.
Yeah.
And even just memory sometimes. Like, I know if I guess I could probably jump back into, like, Breath of the Wild and start, like, exploring and maybe pick up where I left off. But I almost feel like, yeah, if you just don't really remember what you were doing last, and, like, it's kind of hard to just go back into it. So I never finish long games.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I've been chipping away at it still, although now because of other video games it's losing its crown again as per usual. But no, I did the Rodan fight. Like this is me, like obviously months and months later compared to most people. But did the Rodan fight. That was amazing.
It's amazing, but it was so. How many times did you die?
Oh, geez.
Because like I like
lots.
fought him like a couple times, and then I left, and then I would come back like 20 hours later and be like, maybe I'm strong enough to beat him.
No.
And then I would die like 5 times in a row. I'm like, all right, looks like I'm leaving this battle again. Like, and I did that so many times. Like,
Yeah,
it was really frustrating, but really cool. But
yeah, it is. It was probably like. It had to have at least 20 attempts, I would imagine that I did. And it just comes down to avoid this guy's crazy, like, long-range lightning rocket attacks that he's doing while you're summoning all these other help characters, right?
And over again.
Yeah. And then you just kind of, at some point, you kind of have this path that you can take because you can, you're going to start learning the patterns as per usual. And, once I have enough of that, got lucky enough, got stupid enough to like try a couple of risky things and get away with it and stay on my horse the entire time, which you can't do in any boss battle up to that point, in my experience.
Nice.
It
which
is
fun.
very much a like end boss of Breath of the Wild, where it is just like the biggest arena possible, and he is so massive compared to you. His attacks are so massive. Like, you're doing an attack and then you're just running the fuck away. The first time I warped to that area, I was like, this is a huge area of the map. Why can't I access it? And then I'm like, oh, this is just a boss arena.
Yes. Yes. Like a whole mini continent unto itself just for the sake of this boss battle. There's like nothing else there.
It rules. Like,
and it's not, but it's not the final boss of the game.
No,
or
hell
it
no.
is?
Not even close.
Hell no.
Oh my god.
It's like a third boss.
My god.
Oh my god, because I forget, does it unlock Nookstrella or does it unlock the Eternal City? Is Nookstrella the Eternal City? I don't remember.
Is that the end of, is that before Royal City or after? I'm getting all mixed up. No, that was Royal City's after that, right?
Yes, but I went there before because I just kept dying and I was getting frustrated.
Oh, Royal City's a bitch. And I know you warned me about that too. And it was like, some of these segments are just so painful between your save points. Like, what are you doing to me right now? Like, and talk about playing like 20 times is nothing on that boss compared to how many times I'd replay some of those sections just trying to find the next, whatever, Lost Grace or whatever.
Dude, okay.
I'm surprised a little more so Randall, just knowing both of your playstyles, but I'm kind of surprised both of you have the patience to like keep grinding when it is like grinding away of like failure after failure. Like, what is it is it just like the game is that compelling still, or is it just like, I'm just kind of surprised. It's a little shocking that it's like, oh man, because like it's so easy for me to like, I was even playing like a platformer that I was enjoying the other day, but I like was kind of dying a little more than I usually do, or like more than I did in Super Mario World. And I'm like right away just like, this is a little too hard. I'd rather play something else. And like, it's just so easy for me to like give up on a game these days.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just me.
I think the exploration is the compelling part of it, where it's just like you get a little bit further each time and you go into a room and like something wild happens that you've never seen before. And you're just like, I need to see what's next. Like,
and then, like, what's beyond this? That's a good point. Because I mean, it is sort of that way in a game where you're just like progressing level to level, like, oh, what's the next level going to be? But it is more like just a series of challenges as opposed to like, oh, I found this area that seems cool, and then this boss that's whooping my ass is making me think that like, yeah, it must be cool because like there's a reason why it's so hard. So I kind of get that, yeah.
Well, and along the way, besides just the mini bosses, some of the regular enemies are sons of bitches. But
Yes.
like you're gaining confidence through repetition and learning their patterns and what works and what doesn't. And you know that's worthwhile, even if you end up losing a lot more than you end up winning, especially at first in that regard. And I don't know, you just kind of bake in failure to to your experience.
Part of the experience, I guess. Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of the same as like doing like a Super Meat Boy level. I guess I just don't have that in me as much anymore because like even though like those kind of games, like I get pretty frustrated quickly. I'm just like, I'd rather just play something that's like perfectly at my skill ceiling where it's like, oh, I die once in a while and it's like right on the cusp of but that's like, it's way too much to ask. Not every game is just going to be right on that perfect cusp, but like, yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. Like internalizing the actual, like, just getting better at the game, like that feeling of that. I don't know.
And so much of, honestly, like what because I haven't been playing Elden Ring, but I've actually been watching a lot of Elden Ring lore videos, like not even like gameplay, but just people like talking about item descriptions and like characters. And like, it's fascinating how much of the game, like there's, and it's the same in like all Dark Souls games. Like there's such a rich story for literally every area and every placement of enemy in it. So it's like, there was a thing that I recently watched a video, her channel, I think is Quaylag, which is the name of a Dark Souls 1 boss.
Sounds like it. Yep.
But she did a video about how like, the Liurnia is the Royal Academy, and they're the Church of the Moon, and they have the puppet people, and the puppet people are the puppet enemies rather are they hate the Albiarnics. I don't know how to pronounce any of these things.
Sure.
But they're the like toad-looking people that do the cartwheels.
Oh.
And so like anytime they are together, the puppets will always be attacking them first.
That
because
rules.
they hate their existence. Like they're like what they're aligned with as like the like like Church of the Moon like thing. Like it is, there's, and like just like every enemy has like this interaction with other enemies where there's like the Crucible Knights, which are the more like they're aligned with the dragons, and they're like the like natural thing, and like even the outer gods in this game like come from space, so they are like technically aliens, but like you don't think of them because they're just like celestial beings, but they like there's so much in everything, and the game tells you none of it. The game is like the game is like, I don't know, you're just fighting a big dude. You can figure it out on your own if you care. Otherwise, it's just like, this is a lady with a big sword and she wants you dead. Like,
yep. And there's ways to get some more information about those encounters from specific people if you know where to find them, or talk to them, or talk to them enough times. But even then, it's mostly pretty oblique stuff. You're not, they're not going to tell you exactly how to beat the boss or anything like that. Certainly.
Like you're kind of talking like cryptic hints, like along the lines of like the old man behind the waterfall or whatever in Zelda. Like you get like kind of like or maybe that's what the hint is about, like going behind the waterfall, but like kind of like that kind of stuff you mean? Or
even more just lore, I would say.
I know, I was going to say like that is too straightforward of a hint.
Yeah, because those are more like hints about like, how to progress or how to like beat a boss or whatever. Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I went to this one area and I found a sword, and that sword tells me a brief bit of backstory of like the faction that wielded it, and if I interpret that along with this other item description, then I can understand why this like boss, when I killed them, they cried out this name of this other NPC. It's like It is so unbelievably intricate and well crafted, but like it is only there if you want to know. And like, it is unbelievable. And like it is so wild to like see like stuff like George R.R. Martin and like Miyazaki, like just like I'm imagining them like having the time of their lives coming up with lore, and like then we're like, and we'll tell them none of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see like the web of everything like interconnected and like, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like,
dude, watch
the storyboards or whatever you want to call it.
Any of the videos that I've been watching, like it is because it's all speculation too.
Yeah,
like none of it is all just fans being like, we're doing the legwork and we're trying to figure out why these things are connected, or like why does this air tree have like this like face in it, that this face also appears in this other side of the map. And it's like it is unbelievable. What a good game.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, just the intricacies of this game. And I feel, to some degree, I feel bad that I'm still mostly now sticking with the same kind of general loadout that I've been using for the past, I don't know how many hours, just tens of hours, like probably 50 hours. I've been using those lightning bolts and my cipher pada thing that doesn't take any like weight. It's just a literal like little like lightning fist weapon essentially.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. So because I've put so much stats in the faith build basically. Yep. That it keeps scaling with that, but it costs no weight on me, so I can like pump up my armor and be like stupid aggressive.
That's great.
It's fun.
Oh my god.
And back to that muscle memory thing too. Once you get used to like your weapon set and your loadout, you're just kind of like, oh man, if you like you get into like a rhythm of all like the button presses and the cooldowns and everything, and you're just like, okay, I don't want to take any chances. Even when when we were talking about Into the Breach, which takes no muscle memory, but it's like brain memory, I guess. I'm like, I don't want to commit like a new squad to memory.
That is exactly what I've also been doing with like Monster Hunter. Like that.
I was just gonna say that because you posted that clip on Twitter of like that. You were like, these people are playing a totally different game than me, and I was like, this is like, how is that not a cutscene? By the way, I know it was Monster Hunter World, I think, but still, it was like, holy shit, this is like insane. It looked so awesome.
Well, yeah, like there are some times when I'm playing like, so I've mostly been playing like two builds in Monster Hunter Rise. Like light bowgun is my main build, and that's what I do when I want to like advance story or like play like things that are like above my difficulty or at my difficulty. And whenever I'm farming, I'll be like, all right, let's try like Insect Glaive, which is the only one that I feel semi-competent to like play in like not like super hard level, but like at least normal level difficulty things. But like, I'll like anytime I'm doing something, I was like, well, I have a bunch of unfinished quests at like super low level that I'm like, I'm just going to do dual blades and like put on the highest level armor so that if I do get hit a million times, it doesn't matter.
Right. Because that's way more up close and personal style versus your long range attack.
Oh my god! So the thing that I love about Insect Glaive is that it is one of the more mobile weapons. Like I only do like the fast like moving weapons because like the one I posted out was of someone playing Hammer. And
it's like this massive, like huge, like sledgehammer.
Yeah, and they like
almost like
timed
an
the dive attack of a dragon to like that. They would finish their combo and land the hit right when the dragon was like diving at them. And I'm like, I could never. I could never do that because I need with Insect Glaive. It is you have a big fuck off pole arm or whatever. Glaive, I guess. But you shoot an insect out and it attacks on your behalf and it harvests. I don't know. I don't really understand how to use it. But the main like mobile part of it is that you can use it as a pole vault and just like launch yourself into the air and just like use like some burst in midair to like fly across the screen.
That rules.
So like anytime that I'm like playing with other people, I'm in the air like 90% of the time.
Oh yeah.
Because when you land an attack, that it launches you again, and all I'm doing is just like bouncing off like an enemy constantly.
Gummy bear style.
And like
awesome.
anytime I play like a slow moving thing, I'm like, how do people play this game like this? I can't.
Yeah, like that clip that you posted, like it almost looked like a clip from Asura's Wrath, which I think is actually another Capcom game, but it was like all like quick time events and whatever.
Yeah.
But it like really felt like that. Like it felt like it was like hit, A right when the dragon like leaps into your face or whatever. Like it really like, I don't know. Yeah, just totally, I don't know, bonkers.
That's
it
great.
is. I do always find it difficult in any game, whether it's because I think I might have talked about this too when we talked about like Death's Door and Tunic and whatnot. But like any game where where you're such like the size of your character in relation to like the size of a boss, where you're like maybe 1/100th or 1,000th of the size. Like I feel like it's so hard to like judge positioning of attacks and positioning of your, where you're at and how to dodge and stuff.
Yeah.
You get used
you feel
to
like
it.
you run into that with, you just get used to the flow. I guess, if you're playing
Kind
a
of.
boss 20 times, you're just like, okay, I know what I need to do to dodge that attack.
Yep.
Whether it makes sense or not, I know where I need to be.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked up because I was curious what like in Monster Hunter Rise, the like first boss or so, like the first level of bosses, monsters that you fight is like the Great Izuchi. And it's just like a little velociraptor guy. And I was like, I wonder how much health it has. Because like the very first time I was playing with light bowgun, I remembered I was doing like 1 damage per bullet. And it was like 1,700 hit points.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
And then I looked up what it is at the current rank I am, which is there is low rank, high rank, master rank, which started in Sunbreak, and then afflicted research. So it's still AR, like MR, LR, HR, but like afflicted is 55,000 hit points.
Okay.
I'm at least doing like 30 damage per bullet at this point, but like it is still just like, I was like, good God, how did I ever play this game like single player for like 100 hours?
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles style, because I remember playing that game and just being like, man, this game is cool, but I feel like I just have to like wail on this boss for like 45 minutes to, like, I'm not really doing anything all that. Like, it's just like clearly designed to be like chaining attacks with your teammates together and stuff and doing like combo attacks.
Yeah, but the patience that gave me also, like when I was playing Elden Ring, I was like, man, even these giant enemies are going down in like 10 hits. This is easy. I'm like, I don't have to spend like 5 minutes just dodging so I can heal.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, though. Just
a lot of those games are like,
moment.
like waiting for the window, it feels.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of been standard 3D game boss battles for a long time. Like even thinking back to like Metroid Prime boss battles are kind of like that. It's like run around until you have a window and then, okay, now it's time for you to attack.
Yeah. Yep.
So, or knock the enemy out and then attack them or whatever.
Video games are good, guys.
I like them.
Good stuff. Yeah. I haven't been playing as much, man. Like I've done like some of the multiplayer sessions that we had, like when, me, you and Glenn played, and I actually did a stream earlier today, just like a quick, like, I'm going to play some games. And yeah, but I've mostly just been like drained. Like I'm so exhausted right now. And actually I just was hanging out with some of my old work buddies last night. My buddy Mike, who was hanging out, who actually finally I gave him his copy of Spider-Man back, which unfortunately never even popped it in. So I'll never know. I guess I can just get it. I was gonna say I'll never know if that game's any good. But he was saying, I was like, oh, what have you been playing lately, man? And he was like, oh, Elden Ring. And he's like, I beat it like 5 or 6 times now. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I was telling him like, I was like, yeah, it's like the other guys on the podcast have done like, probably like 100, 150 hours, give or take between the two of them. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, it took me maybe that long, like the first time. He's like, but once you know what you're doing, you just rip through it. I'm like, man, that is just
No.
We're playing different video games.
I don't
man.
think that's true.
No.
Even like New Game Plus, like I think they like triple the HP of every boss.
Oh my god.
Jeez, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I don't know.
doesn't sound
That
fun.
sounds like DJ status. Like, okay, I'm gonna go and just grind this, beat everything, get everything you can do in the game.
Nope.
I don't have that in me anymore. Yeah, I'm lucky if I can even beat a game. That's why I get so excited for stuff like Sayonara Wild Hearts or something like that, when it's just like, oh, I can literally play this whole game in one sitting.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Even in my current situation, like I'm like, I can play this whole game before my back even starts bothering me as much. Like, usually if I'm in like one position for more than like an hour or two, I start getting kind of antsy a little bit.
Right.
And yeah, like Sayonara Wild Hearts, just like, oh, I'm done. Oh, okay, nice. Cool.
Yeah.
What a game. And before I even have time to be uncomfortable.
Even in Sayonara, you have to have kind of your wits about you. Otherwise, you'll be replaying the same section a gajillion times, right? So there's still some...
and ruining the song every time you... Or not ruining it, but you're just like, oh, no, I ruined like the flow. Yeah, exactly.
You got to be in the zone.
Yeah. But it is funny when you mentioned the muscle memory thing, too. I think I said this in the Discord, but like, yeah, when I picked up my Switch the other day, because like I had... when you and Glenn were going to come, and I knew like when Glenn was going to be in town, I just like took all my Joy-Cons out and charged them and everything. Mm-hmm. So I think I packed up my Hori like split pad pros. Like I put them in whatever box that I put some of my gaming stuff in.
Yeah.
So I don't have them handy, but I like, when I was trying to watch the Nintendo Direct stuff, I was like, oh, they probably have it on like just on the Switch news channel. But again, it was all like the Japanese news channels. I was like, shit, I can't find it anywhere. But I had like just the regular yellow Joy-Cons on there, and I was like, man, I really do like I do remember how much my hands would cramp up after playing for a while, but I was like, man, I really like the form factor of how like the Switch feels in your hand. Like, I don't know, just like the weight of it, the like it feels delicate and fragile. Like if you drop it, it'd probably not be a good thing, but like I don't know, it just feels nice. I don't know. But I mean, it feels way better to play with that split pad Pro as far as like comfort for your hands, but it did feel nice to be like, oh, I forgot that the Switch isn't like so huge.
Right.
Because it does make it quite a bit bigger.
Oh yeah. It's bulked out with those Hori
it makes
pads.
it like close to like what I would imagine the Steam Deck feels like. I feel like every time I see a picture of that, I'm like, yeah, that thing looks pretty huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a thick boy.
I've been so used to playing my Switch because I've had Joy-Con drift for years now, and I've been too lazy to ever do anything about it.
Oh, you are a good one.
Am I? Well, let's hear the rest of the story, which is that I am so used to balancing the Switch on my like forearm while I have a Pro controller in my hand.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Tabletop mode. Who knew that John was getting full use out of tabletop mode?
It's such a nightmare. Good God.
Hey, I get it. Like sometimes it is a pain, like to.
But I play it like undocked a lot, but it is literally like just like, or like I'll sit like at my desk and I'll just have like it propped up against like, I don't know, on the desk, and I'll be playing with a Pro controller. Like,
hey, at least your hands aren't cramping up.
Yeah,
hopefully.
No,
I don't know if your body is like getting in a weird position to like prop up the Switch. But.
Yeah, I'm not sitting with good posture, but you know. I'm getting my money's worth on those Pro controllers.
Yeah, it's a good controller. It's definitely one of my go-tos.
Yeah, it's a good controller.
I'd say it's probably my favorite of the console controllers, of like the mainline console controllers. Granted, I've never used that like $200 Xbox console control, like that Elite controller or whatever it's called.
I love the 360 controller. I thought that was my favorite of any.
I never liked that. Well, I shouldn't say never liked it, but it never felt quite comfortable in my hand.
Oh, really?
I like the angle of it.
Yeah, I think I did too. Like, especially of that time, I was like, oh, like the contours of this controller feel best in my hand of these, during that generation.
I think what I don't like, and I think a lot of modern controllers, because even like the newer PlayStation controllers, like they make the like the R2 triggers like feel more like triggers, and I like them to feel more like a button as opposed to like, or even like GameCube, it's more of like a lever, but it's not like a trigger. But like I will say the 360 controller, that was like the only controller that I would actually hold with like my index finger on the button and my like ring finger on the trigger, where like I otherwise kind of only use my index finger and just kind of swap between the two.
Right.
But that controller did feel the most comfortable to just naturally have your hands like to use all the buttons with a dedicated finger.
Yeah, that's a good
God, I never really thought about it. Yeah, I really only use my index finger. Because I usually rest my index fingers on the back buttons and then like just shift them up, unless it's a game like Enter the Gungeon or something where you're like constantly like where those buttons are in use at all times, but it's always kind of uncomfortable. Like I'm always like kind of, that'll lead to my hand cramping up even on a pro controller.
Yeah I'm not a big, or like a lot of FPS games are the same way where they're going to use all of those triggers and shoulder buttons actively,
and you gotta even you got to have a good grip because they're probably even going to make you like push in the joystick and stuff like that.
Yep.
I can't. That's one of my least favorite things in any game. Like,
I like
it can be used in okay.
Yeah, there are certain instances where I like it, where it's like using a sub menu or something.
Yeah.
Or like placing a
Yeah.
beacon or something.
Yeah, something like that where you're like moving the camera and like, oh, cool, something interesting. Let me put a beacon over there. But yeah, when it's like press this to crouch or like hold it down while you're pressing forward
Feels
to
bad.
run, like get the fuck out of here.
Feels bad.
Yeah.
And some games do it with like toggle that works a little bit better, but it's still just like, I don't know. There's so many buttons on this damn controller. Like, I feel like, I don't know. You could come up with a better solution than that.
Sure.
This is the most I've ever yawned. I don't know if it's the wine I'm having, but I'm like, I'm not sleepy, but I'm yawning a lot. And so I apologize.
Hey, I'm the same boat.
Levels. I can't stand that I'm staring at myself in this Skype thing. It drives me nuts. It updated, and there's a big picture of myself, and I don't like it. I want to see the people I'm talking to, not
you
just
can't
myself.
change? You can't change it?
I was like messing around with it, but then I'm like trying to stay in the conversation, so I'm not trying to fuck with it too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For me, it's like right above, it's like right at the top right. There's like a view thing.
Yeah, I messed with that, and I don't know. I just didn't see anything that seemed intuitive to like, don't show my face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate speaker view. That's my least favorite.
It's in grid view, but it's like I'm like super prominent and like
same. Yeah. I mean,
like, I want y'all to be prominent.
I mean, there's only video participants in the grid. I guess I don't need to see myself.
For me, what I have
tried
is
that and it
grid
didn't work.
view is the only thing checked, and then everything else is unchecked, at least on my menu. And I have, for me, it's just like a little me in the corner on top, but then you two are like side by side.
Okay, no, I got it.
Yeah, like
there it goes.
There's different. Good God.
I just had to undo only video participants in the grid, which makes no sense, but it's whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You'd think that would be like something you'd want to have checked. That's weird, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess that. Yeah, because it has you in the grid as well.
Yeah, it's as like the main
two separate options. That doesn't make sense. Gotcha. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm still there, but now I'm not just staring at myself.
That is not intuitively named. That is garbage UI.
Mine was thankfully just always on. Like the only one I ever unclicked was like show me in the grid, because every time I boot it up, it always puts me in the grid, and I have to like uncheck that one.
Yeah,
every single time for whatever reason. But yeah, what do we want to? How do we want to tackle stuff today? We can even, we can keep it on the shorter side too. It doesn't have to go.
Yeah, I got
super ham. Like we can. I don't know if you want to save Pocky Randall for a future time. I'm more than happy to.
I did play a decent amount of that, and especially during that 1 week, I got some time in. I haven't lately. I was kind of got on a roll though. I wouldn't mind.
I'd be happy to talk about it, because I could easily talk Ninja Saviors.
Well, I want to talk Ninja Saviors, but I could also see myself playing more Pocky, because I think I can beat that game.
I think I could beat that game too, so I'd be happy to talk about that too. And I'm happy to save it for any time. Like I'm happy to just go on your whatever you want to do with Pocky, because I could go on that anytime. Because I still own it and I'm happy to play more. It might like maybe Demon Throttle come out and we can pair it with that or something. Or
yeah, let's save the Pocky one more time. Even though I know you want to put that with Ninja Savior because they're
I don't care that
publisher.
much. In my head, I was just like, we could do that, but it doesn't. We definitely don't have to.
Now let's save it. Let's save it one more time. Let's save it one more time.